this is selfishly a conversation that I wanted to have because I started playing Retro Bowl probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm sure you're probably aware of the Reddit groups that go along with that and some of the crazy kind of like online stuff that they've been able to do, and I got involved in that pretty heavily.
Oh,
Um,
really?
oh yeah, and then because I'm a big NFL fan, I'm a big American football fan, and I've always wanted a way to get the feeling of playing those games, kind of like the Maddens of the world and those console games, but down on my phone, right? And I thought that Retro Bowl has done it perfectly. And then you guys released Retro Bowl for college, and then Retro Bowl with the actual NFL teams, and then Retro Soccer that I play, and now the new one, is it Slam Tennis? That's the new one I'm
Yeah,
playing right
retro
now.
slam tennis. Yeah.
Yeah, so before we get into all that, I just wanted to give you an idea. So I appreciate everything that you guys do over there because it's been one of those games that I've been, or one of the companies that I play honestly all the time, and I recommend them a lot. But I do want to get a little background on you, Mark. Understand kind of where you came from, how you landed at New Star, because I noticed that you've been there for over a decade now. So
Mhm.
kind of take it away and give us the synopsis there.
I actually started in the games industry in the last century. It sounds
Oh
funny,
yeah.
this. So 1997, I
Oh wow.
started in the games industry as a QA operative at
Okay.
Team 17 Software, and spent a long time at Team 17, about 15 years roughly. And I worked in QA, then went to work in game design, worked on a couple of big titles there, then moved on to being an assistant producer, then full time producer. And then when Team 17 pivoted from just making games to publishing,
Hmm.
I they needed a community manager. So I did that for a couple of years. And then, things just changed a little bit, and I decided I wanted something a bit different.
Hmm.
And an opportunity came up to work with Simon at New Star Games. So that was 12 years ago next month.
Okay. Wow.
Um,
Congratulations.
it was brilliant. It was a brilliant time for me to join Simon because he'd just had huge success with New
Uh
Star
huh.
Soccer. So New
Okay.
Star Soccer just won the BAFTA for the best sports game. Um,
Really
yeah, it beat some very big titles, actual console titles, to the best sports game of the year. And with that
interesting.
came a lot of extra attention that Simon wasn't used to. He needed
Hmm.
someone to kind of deal with all that. So I picked up all his customer support and all his online stuff. And it's
Hmm.
kind of just gone on from there. Simon's just keeps on producing great games.
No,
And
that's amazing.
Retro Ball obviously was the one that's really hit the mainstream
Hmm.
because our other stuff was mainly European audience.
Okay.
We had people playing our games in America, but
Hmm.
until we did the proper football,
Yeah.
then
Hey, I didn't say that. You
hey,
know,
no,
I would never cross that line.
no. Um, but when Retro Ball came out, it was the perfect time, really.
Hmm. What
Um,
year was that, roughly?
it was was it 2019, 2020? Hang on a second.
Oh, that timing was probably immaculate when
Oh,
it came to
yeah.
that.
It was January 2020, just before the Super Bowl,
Okay.
and did really well in
Hmm.
2020. But then, of course, when lockdown came,
Yeah.
it was just the perfect storm, really. The game doesn't require you to be online. It's
Huge.
There's no forcing people to buy in-app
Hmm.
purchases. We had the one-time purchase so that you could have access to the editor and some of the little game
Yeah.
features, but
That was
the
the
whole
quickest
game was
99 cents that I've ever spent in my entire life.
gone. There's so many people, said to us, that they'd bought that not necessarily because they wanted the features, but because they wanted to support
Hmm.
us as a developer, which was really lovely things for people to say.
Yeah.
And so many people saying it helped them get through, COVID and lockdown, and plane flights, and
Hmm.
stays in hospital, all kinds of things. It was lovely, really nice.
Yeah.
And for a while, Simon responded to that, and he made the game totally free
Hmm.
during. the second lockdown, I believe. When everybody else was, he said,
Okay.
let's
Wow,
just
he
give
made
it
it
away.
completely free.
Yeah,
That's
he said,
amazing.
let's just give it away. And then we found people were buying the in-game credits to support us. So it was wonderful. Yeah, it all worked out really well.
No, like you said, I don't know what it is about Retro Bowl because it's literally the perfect airplane game, the perfect commuter game on the subway. As we like to say, the toilability as well. When you're in the bathroom,
Absolutely, yeah.
um, it's a this great combination because I'm somebody who loves playing, like creating seasons and creating teams and doing that whole thing. But I never really wanted a console game on my iPhone, and I feel like that's what people were trying to do a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And the retro style and the retro UI. Talk to me, if you can, a little bit about that decision on going with that aspect. Like, not really. I guess you can still, if you're still focusing on the graphics, but it's more so kind of the back end, the management, the operational side of being
Yeah.
a coach or a GM. What was that decision like, not to go fully into the graphic side?
I don't think we've ever kind of thought about that really.
Hmm.
We're an extremely small developer. There's only 10 of us
Okay.
total.
Oh wow.
And that includes me, and I don't do anything.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we're like one artist,
Uh huh.
you know, creating everything. And he's done an amazing job as well.
Hmm.
But it's mainly the influence for Retro Bowl, as everybody knows, was the Tecmo Bowl kind of series.
Yeah.
And so Simon was like, well, I want to kind of mimic that kind of style,
Hmm.
make it a little bit sharper, a little bit, but still kind of, I think it's all about our ages as developers. We're kind of looking at the idea of these older style games, very retro style. So that was it was never really a consideration thinking about fancy graphics or those kind of
Okay.
things. And at the end of the day, what Simon said to me was he wanted a game that was super easy to pick up and play and to know
Hmm.
exactly what you had to do. You know, somebody can learn everything about the game in just 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Pick it
It's
up, it's
true.
said, oh, that's how it works. And
Hmm.
then the simplicity of it all kind of keeps coming back to us. People saying, well, why don't you add this? Why don't you add that? And we don't really want to go away from the base idea, which was a really simple pick up and play version of American football.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, and that's, you guys have stayed true to that. And I guess you could leave it to the customers and the users and the fans to find a way to build like an online version of a game. Like I was mentioning to you before, I kind of
It,
stumbled into these crazy Reddit worlds that I
oh,
had no idea
amazing.
existed.
Yeah. The offline leagues have been incredible.
Hmm.
We supported them as much as we could at the time, but we really want to do more to support those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Give them the kind of stats that they need. So
Hmm.
there's if if you played offline leagues,
Yeah, the offline online
then
version.
offline online, there's the restart screen,
Uh-huh.
which we put in so that the people could tell if people are, cheating, basically.
Yeah. No, yeah, I
Um,
remember screenshotting, sending in through the Google form to make sure I played all my games and
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and what I love about this community as well is the stories that people make up.
Oh
So they
yeah, the storylines.
spend so long editing their teams and the uniforms, and then they come up with these narratives.
Hmm.
Their star quarterback who has overcome all kinds of injuries and problems and he's won 20 retro bowls in a row.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, really
No, but it's amazing.
wonderful. Yeah.
And then what made you guys? Because of course Retro Bowl was amazing. And then what kind of led to that transition of A going into the college version of it, and then talk to me a little bit about what it was like creating the NFL version of it and what that entailed as well.
Well, being a Brit,
Yeah,
um,
which I'm sure is tough, especially over there.
it's really difficult. We we really didn't have any idea how big the college game really is,
Yeah.
and it's kind of astounded us. Like,
Hmm.
bigger than the crowds. It's
It's
ridiculous.
insane.
It's insane,
Yeah.
and we were getting people ask us all the time, "Are you going to do a college version? Are you going to do a?" I was like, "Oh no,
It's like why would I want to do
yeah,
that?
why would we want to do that?" And then the more we looked into it, it was like, actually, this would be a
Hmm.
huge audience. And
Yeah.
at the time, there hadn't been a college version
Video
of
game.
American football for a very long time.
Oh, trust me, I know. I was one of those people that waited 11 years for the
Yeah.
console version to come out again.
Yeah, so the response was brilliant again to that.
Hmm.
And we still got some features we need to add to Retro Bowl College to make sure
Okay.
it comes up to speed with the original Retro Bowl. But
Hmm.
that's what we're going to be working on next, hopefully.
Oh, definitely keep me updated. And if you need any help, I'm again big college football guy, big NFL guy. I could give you the ins and outs of what it's like over here on how
Yeah, well,
people
we've got
go with that.
the sim mode and the exhibition modes to
Yeah.
add to Retro Ball College. Um, we keep getting a lot of grief about that, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it makes complete sense because there was definitely a hole in the market for again the feeling of playing a college football game or managing the college football teams because I don't know what it is over here. People love their college football.
yeah,
It is absolutely insane. I'm one of those people that love it. I get up every Saturday at 9 a.m. to watch college game day. So I think it was an amazing idea to bring that. But then kind of transitioning obviously to the NFL version because the first
mm,
Retro Bowl, there was I'm sure from like IP perspective, you guys had to deal with not using like the Miami Dolphins name,
of
but
course, yeah.
you can kind of like lean into it by using the same colors and kind of saying something like that. But how did you get into those conversations with the NFL? Was there some sort of collaboration? How did that all come about?
It was just one of those kind of perfect storm kind of situations, really.
Mm-hmm.
The guys at Apple, big fans of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL, people that we've spoken to, they loved the game as well. So it all just came together really nicely, and they've been the perfect partners, really. I mean, at the time when we first made Retro Ball, we was like a massive pipe dream to be able to do something
Mm-hmm.
like this. But the success of the game has made it, kind of stand out, and it's been a brilliant collaboration. Really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. It's really made our artist work hard, though.
For sure. I even see the on Twitter or X the little pictures that you guys post of actual players in the retro, but like in the retro bowl animations,
Mm.
diving and making a catch and stuff like that. So I think it's been cool to see it because I feel like I've been there maybe not since day one, but pretty early on with retro bowl, and it's been amazing to see kind of the evolution because I remember wanting the actual names of the players. Like I would go in and I would edit the names of my players to make them the same as the actual NFL team. But now that it's kind of there and built into it, and the way that you guys have done it is, again, it's this perfect balance of giving somebody like myself who loves kind of managing teams and stuff like that enough of that feeling, and then also enough gameplay too. So you're not just running a simulator game because I know
Yeah,
that's also kind of another category of game where some people enjoy it, which I kind of do to an extent, but I was missing something, for lack of a better term, something tactile, something to actually maneuver and manipulate when it comes to actual gameplay. So it's this perfect strike that you guys have kind of put yourselves into, which is
I mean,
amazing.
it's been great to actually work with the real players. To have the kind of NFL superstar kind of team that people can make.
Hmm.
That's been a really good feature. That I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are very kind of they want to use the players from their team, but then we also surprisingly a lot of people want to build a proper superstar team.
Yeah.
People from all over the NFL. Some of the teams people have come out with just are really, really good.
Yeah.
I, it makes me wonder whether people actually like the fact that it becomes very easy.
Yeah. No, I know because I've seen some people go crazy. I mean, I've played hundreds of games, but I see people that they'll be, they've won 1,000 games and lost like two because
Yeah,
of those superstars.
yeah.
So that
And
makes
you're not
complete
bored
sense.
yet. Brilliant.
Exactly. So have you become an NFL fan by association?
Do you know what? It's a tricky thing. As a child growing up in the UK, we didn't have much exposure to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It was obviously we were all aware of the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
but that took place when it was broadcasted really late at night.
Yeah. It would have been what,
You,
like
you
1
know,
one in the morning for
one
you
or
guys
two
probably?
a.m. in the morning, and
Yeah.
young children, you're not allowed to stay up that late.
Yeah.
And of course, this was before. I hate saying this. I'm really showing my age here. This is before the internet properly came alive, and
Yeah.
before things like YouTube. So it's like not until I got older, I actually started to have a real interest in
Hmm.
American football. When you could see like full games that are actually the highlights on YouTube and things like that. And of course, getting involved with Simon and the game, you kind of have to do your research, and
Absolutely.
the more you get into it, the more you kind of pick up on the nuances of the game
No,
and
absolutely.
just getting involved with the fans. I mean, I have to say this. I've been working in the games industry for like, is it 27 years now? And far and away, the American football fans are the best ones I've had to work with in any game that I've ever worked
Nice.
on.
That's, I mean, that's
They
amazing to know.
seem to be so full of full of life and
Yeah.
absolutely the best ambassadors for the game. Really
Hmm.
vocal and absolutely brilliant to work with, and surprisingly forgiving as well.
Hmm.
So when things have gone wrong, we're like, oh no, you UK kind of fans, when things go wrong, they're ready to come and
Oh,
break
yeah.
down the door and
I guess it's
wearing
because
the pitchforks and everything. But yeah, I've loved every minute of working on American football games. Brilliant.
and I know that the NFL has been trying to do a lot more international stuff. So they have their game at Wembley State, a few games a year now, right? They do like
Yep,
2 to 4 games a year now in the UK.
that's right. Yeah,
Is it still?
Simon's been to a few games at
Hmm.
when they've come to London.
Okay.
Um,
You guys should
'Cause
definitely do
Simon,
something there. That'd be cool.
yeah, yeah, maybe.
All
Well,
right.
Simon's a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and
Okay.
so the NFL games are actually at the same ground where he
Okay.
goes to see football.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's a good little segue into retro soccer. The other football,
Hmm.
which is another game that I played. I got into it, funny enough, and I think this is probably also another kind of perfect storm because you had the Ted Lasso effect here in the U.S., which is what I like to call it, where people who didn't care about soccer here in the U.S. all of a sudden saw the American football coach go coach soccer or football over there in the UK, and I started to learn about relegation and different leagues and the fact that you were able to add that kind of stuff into retro soccer. Again, it gives you like enough realism on that side where it makes it fun that the game is like more the gameplay is more retro style and doesn't require a lot of intricacies. So retro soccer is another one where I would get lost in, and I would take, you know, a B level team and get them promoted to the A series and things like that. So was that kind of just the next organic flow into the next game? What was that conversation like?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. We've made a few soccer games. New
Mm-hmm.
Star Soccer was huge, absolutely
That's why I
massive.
have to try that one. I don't know why I haven't tried that one.
Yeah, and then that evolved into New Star Manager, and
Okay.
you need to try that
Yeah. Okay.
because
I
that
definitely will.
yeah, look it up. I think based off what you've said to me, I think you really
Mm.
like New Star Manager because
Okay.
that is literally managing your football team,
Okay.
and
I'm gonna try it once we get
yeah,
off of this. That'll be
yeah,
my
you
Friday
should.
night.
Um, so of course we already had like football games,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to kind of just tag on to the end of the retro. So well, let's do another retro football soccer
Mm-hmm.
game, and just the gameplay just feels really nice, really tactile.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential there. I'm really hoping that we can go back to retro goal as well, add some extra features to that. I think
Is
it's
that
got a
maybe
lot.
that's what I'm talking? I'm talking about retro. Which one am I talking about?
I think you're talking retro goal, aren't you?
I am talking about retro goal. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one that I'm in love with.
But you need to go try New Star Manager.
Okay, I'll try that. That's the next one I'll download. Because
Yep.
right now the one that I've been going with is the tennis one, the Slam, retro
Yeah.
Slam.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
newest
only
one.
been out a week, so Still got lots to
I'm
do.
already like in my fourth year, you know. So so I'm definitely
Again,
addicted to
again,
it,
that
but
feels really tactile, doesn't it?
it does. And
Just
again,
got
it's like
really nice.
you can do it one handed if you need to. Like you don't need any internet, so it's the perfect game. Because nowadays, even the games that you want to play, they require service. You need data, you need internet, which is a shame because you can't play them on the commute on the subway. You know, you can't use on the tube or on an airplane. So these games, I think, they're perfect for those situations, in my opinion. And even
Yeah.
sometimes, especially when they're the new games that I'm trying out, I'll be just like on my couch at the end of the day. You know, like my daughter will try to play with me. I'm like, no, I'm playing my retro girl right now. You know. um, but I did have a question for you when it came to kind of the evolution of the company a little bit because obviously we mentioned in the beginning, Retro Bowl was a regular App Store game, right? There was in-app purchases to an extent. What was the transition like going into Apple Arcade, and what does that kind of look like? Do you reach out to Apple, vice versa? I'm very curious just to how that all works.
Well, to be honest, there's not a lot that needed to change to make
Mm-hmm.
it into an Apple Arcade game. The purchases that you had in the normal Retro Bowl game
Mm-hmm.
were mainly just for the credits and for
Yeah.
the unlimited version, which was for the editor and the different difficulty settings. So all we did was unlock the editor and the
Okay.
difficulty settings, like the kickoff returns, those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
just as standard for the Apple Arcade version. And I don't think people have really missed not being able to buy credits, to be fair.
No. Yeah.
It's one of those
I haven't
things,
missed it.
it kind of forced people to make more of a legacy kind of version of the
Yeah.
game when they play on Apple Arcade. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been great for us.
Yeah.
It's just been really, really, really good.
Does it did it help kind of amplify or get new users in? Well, what was the effect of what was the Apple Arcade effect for
Right,
Retro Bowl?
so the thing you've got as a small developer is
Mm-hmm.
that we've we've never spent money on user acquisition.
Okay.
We've never
Really?
spent money
No
on
ads or anything?
no, not really.
Yeah.
We cross promote our games with each other.
Yeah.
So you'll see an advert in Retro Bowl for Retro Gold, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really advertise at all. Because it's such a difficult thing to quantify.
Yeah.
So like if you spend X amount of money, are you sure you're going to make that back? It's
Mm-hmm.
a very difficult thing to quantify
Yeah.
unless you're a huge company and you've got like a team of
A
people
lot to
working
spend.
on
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So the hardest thing for an indie developer is to get eyes on your games.
Mm-hmm.
You're constantly fighting for store space and store attention. And the great thing about Apple Arcade is that we, with our relationship with Apple, we get featured more often.
Yeah.
An app of the day, we featured on the recommended for Apple Arcade, and that has helped us immeasurably. With people finding the game, downloading it, because we tend to just work off of positive word of mouth with people. We kind of try really hard with
Mm-hmm.
our interactions with people online.
Which makes
That's my
sense.
job. Try
Yeah.
really hard. Um, we try to bend over backwards for people to help them because we want people to have a good experience playing our games and then to tell other people about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to have worked quite well for us. So
Yeah.
we're very happy with that. But like I said, the thing with Apple Arcade is that it just gives us more of an audience, more people to evangelize for our games. And it's been a
Mm-hmm.
great relationship that we've had with them.
I also think it's going back to the tennis game that I've been playing, and you mentioned the cross game kind of adverts that you would do. I think it's the best idea to. I think every few weeks it says like, oh, somebody challenged you to a retro goal game, and then
Yeah,
it's like retro goal inside of the game, inside of a virtual iPhone. I think that's hilarious,
yeah.
and it's kind of
It,
the same motion, the same behavior that you got to teach to like shoot the soccer ball. So I think that's a perfect idea. So whoever
we've
came up
had
with
people
that,
do that.
they deserve a raise.
That's the old New Start Soccer game in retro slam tennis.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
we were hoping that some of our older fans would, get the little nod
Mm-hmm.
there.
And
Um,
then I was curious, and you can answer however which way you want to. When it comes to, again, back to the Apple Arcade and monetizing your game, what is that situation like? Is that something, a conversation that you have to have, kind of like an opportunity cost when it comes to switching on the Apple Arcade, or is it just net positive all around getting involved with Apple Arcade?
there's absolutely no downsides to anything there.
Okay,
No, well, I can't go into any details, obviously, with the
of
contracts
course,
and
yeah.
things that we have, but it's been a really good experience for us, and we've really enjoyed all of it. And at the end of the day, it's been really positive for us.
Mm-hmm.
And like
No,
I
of
say,
course.
it's helped not only with Retro Bowl, the
Mm-hmm.
NFL version, but it's helped, get eyes on our other games as well. So
Yeah,
we're very
100%.
happy with how things have gone.
And trust me, so am I as the end consumer. I discover new games every single. I also follow you guys on X. I don't know if you're the one actually making those posts
Hmm.
to try like the MotoGP. That's another one that I want to try out that I haven't tried yet. But I was all over the Grand Slam tennis when it came out because I was like, I need to try this.
Yeah.
So kudos to you guys for getting that done for sure. And then obviously with success, people are going to start to possibly get inspired, quote unquote. We'll use a nice word
Mhm.
for it, to kind of have games that are very similar to what you guys are doing because you guys have clearly found you guys are scratching an itch over there for a lot of people. So what has that been like? Have there been competitors that have come and gone? What is it like market share in this type of category of game? And what would you even categorize your game as? I'm actually curious. Like in what genre?
Very good. A good question, that. I suppose it's like a retro sports sim
Yeah, right.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's its own exactly. It's its own. You guys created your own thing, and that's why I think
Yeah,
it'll
it's.
spur a lot of people.
I mean, we kind of have cornered the market for the way that we do our games. So
Hmm.
our games have always been you play the highlights, you don't play the full
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So as you noticed with the soccer game, with NFL, with the tennis game, even with the GP game,
Hmm.
the GPs are only 6 laps, so everything just gets
Oh,
condensed down into the fun
yeah,
part of things. And
for
we
sure.
constantly get people on retro ball saying, "I want to play the defense." I was like, "Ugh, you don't really though, do you?
Mm-mm.
It's
No,
boring."
even in the console level college football one, I simulate defense.
Yeah, exactly. No,
You know?
nobody really wants to play defense. People
Yeah.
want to be able to be the one with the Hollywood pass or scoring a
Hmm.
touchdown. The same with soccer, people don't want to be the one
Yeah.
in defence. They want to be the striker up front,
Hmm.
scoring a hat trick of goals. Uh, and
It's true,
yeah,
100%.
in tennis, you don't want to be there, slogging it out, for huge rallies that go on forever.
Hmm.
You want that killer smash, or you want the killer point, don't you? So I
Yeah,
suppose New Star has kind of got its own style,
yeah.
and I've not really seen anybody try to mimic that. I mean, there are lots of retro style games out there. Some really good ones coming up as well. The
Hmm.
Bitball baseball looks great. Saw a rugby one as well the other day that looks really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, very interesting. And we don't see these kind of things as competition. It's just, it's another game, in the genre, and
Hmm.
that's great. Love to see all these retro games.
No, I'm a big believer in that mindset. The whole high tides raises all boats. So I mean, as long as you guys are at the top of the pyramid and helping everybody else out, it's all good. That's my at least my selfish outlook when it comes to you guys because I love seeing all the games being developed, some new ones to try out, and I've kind of figured out the ones that I like the most and spend the most time on.
Hmm.
But I think next up I'm gonna try the one that you mentioned, and then also I want to try the MotoGP, something different, and it
Yeah,
also gets you into the sport as well. Like because of Retro Goal, I started following Inter Miami, and of course like Messi came and all that stuff. So I kind of culturally it also helps out. There's a lot of like positives that come from these games, and another big thing, like you mentioned, is just how quickly, but still in an impactful way, these games can go. So like in 5 minutes, you can get in and out of a game if you need to, and still kind of make progress in your season or in your sport or in whatever situation you're trying to play in. So again, like you said, I think it's a very unique take on how to play these sports games, and I've been loving it. So kudos to you guys.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
when it all first started, it was like we were expecting with mobile,
Mm.
things are fairly short session times.
Yeah.
So people play their mobile games when they've got a few minutes spare. Um, and so that's kind of how we designed most of the games to be handled in like 4 or 5 minutes. Enough time for people to play one or two games per session. But what tends to happen is that you get people playing for hours and hours on their
Yeah.
phone. That's not really what was intended, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's really good. So yeah, that's kind of the thought process behind that was
Mm.
mobile gamers, short sessions, not as good, with regards to attention span.
Mm.
Yeah, make it nice and quick.
And then how do you decide? Because I noticed you also have some games on Steam. I
Mm.
think there's a couple of console games, correct? I saw like the Xbox logo on your website and PS and the PlayStation Network logo as well.
Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit about the differences between both. What you decide to put on what? Are there any differences in gameplay when it comes to that kind of stuff? Do you make them longer for the console versus not?
Right, so the most recent example is the GP game, the
Mm-hmm.
racing game that we've done. That's on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Again, team of 10.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Simultaneously
That's
launched.
crazy.
It's
I thought the company
ridiculous.
was much much bigger.
Yeah. We simultaneously launched that game as well on all
Mm.
platforms, which was, in hindsight, probably not the best idea. But again, that one artist created
For
all the
everything?
tracks, everything. Yeah, massive
Wow.
kudos to it. It's incredible. He's a real asset to us. But
Yeah.
um, we made those first, the Steam and the console versions.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the mobile version that's due to be launched in the next week or two, but it's essentially exactly the same game.
Okay.
It's all the same content.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So were those games made for console first? Like, was there a
Yes.
different mindset going into those compared to when you were making a retro bowl or a retro goal?
And kind of. To be honest, we just
Mm-hmm.
make the games we want to make.
That's usually the perfect solution, you know?
Yeah. So we we're under no kind of pressure from anyone else, and I think that's
Yeah.
another one of the good reasons. Very small team, very agile. We can just you know do whatever we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Really, um, that
That's
sounds a bit
awesome.
arrogant, actually. No,
No, but it's true.
don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
So we just really wanted to do a racing game.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Especially
messed
the
about.
popularity of F1, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we messed about with it. I came up with
Mm-hmm.
a few concepts, and then just decided to run with it. I mean, it took nearly 3 years,
Oh, really? I saw that it was
but
teased a lot on social for a
mm,
while, and then I was like looking it up, and then it was still coming soon. So like I said, I'm sure it did take a little while to get that done.
yeah, well, because of course you've got to remember we've got all these other games that
Yeah.
we've been working on. So we were only having like one or two people working on the GP game at any given
Mm-hmm.
time, and then it all came together. We had a lovely, um, what's it called now on Steam? Early access. We did the early
Okay.
access on Steam was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. We got some really good feedback. We changed quite a few things, um, added things that we hadn't even thought about, and yeah, it's really well received. It's like currently at 94% positive reviews on Steam,
Jeez, that's awesome.
which is
That's amazing.
great. Um,
No, yeah, it's fantastic.
and we're hoping that people enjoy the mobile version as well, which is
I'll be first. I'll be first in line.
essentially the same thing. You just got to unlock a couple of things with iApps. So
Okay, that makes sense. And then, so I guess it seems like you guys have if it's not really set in stone, but some sort of strategy on like slowly but surely, depending on what you're interested in, kind of attacking those sports little by little.
mhm. Yeah.
Uh, so, so A, what other sports are coming down the pipeline, if any, and B, what happens when all the sports when you've covered all the sports. Are you getting into other RPG type of genres? Maybe I feel like you guys could tackle that side as well.
Oh man, I wish I could. I wish I could talk about all the different concepts and things that we've gone over and things that
Hmm.
we would love to do at some point. We're just really too busy at the moment. I think
Yeah.
at some point we're going to have to decide if we need to expand a little bit. But
Hmm.
at the moment, our so this year we're doing more updates for NFL Retro Bowl.
Okay.
Original Retro Bowl has just had a great update this weekend.
Hmm. Oh, with
Trucking,
the trucking, yeah,
yeah, it's really good
very
fun.
cool.
Yeah, very good
Yeah,
fun
and
that.
it's amazing how you're able to do so many little things with such small input, which I think is another cool thing, right? Like being able to like the way that you pass the ball, the way that you run the ball, the way that you juke, now the way that you truck. Um, Again, it's just all simple with single touch. Sometimes you got to use your second thumb or something, but for the most part, you can. These are
Yeah,
mostly one-handed games, which is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Very impressive.
very cool. Yeah, glad you like
Okay,
it.
for
And then
sure.
of course we've got Retro Ball College updates to do. We'll
Hmm.
have some tennis updates to do. We've
It's
got a lot
a
on.
lot of good stuff.
We've got a lot
Because
of good stuff.
I could see you guys maybe. Have you ever played like a RuneScape back in the day, like those
Yeah,
kind of games?
yeah, yeah,
I can see New Star getting into that world a little bit,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, some of the outrageous concepts we've considered in the past are like a dungeon crawler with the new star kind of
Okay.
stuff
Yeah.
on it.
What are some of those like outlandish ones that get kind of tossed in there that they're like we probably shouldn't get into this right now. If you don't mind sharing like some like a crazy one that maybe will
I
never
don't,
actually come to fruition.
I don't know. There's always a chance some of it might come back again at some point.
That's true. That's true.
So
I don't want to give an inside scoop or anything.
I'd be loath to say what we come, what's coming
Yeah.
next, or saying we're never going to do that kind of game, and then
Yeah.
caught out 6 months later when we.
Yeah, that's so true. That could definitely happen.
But yeah,
Um,
we're going to be really busy this year, so not really,
Busy's always good.
yeah, not really
Busy's
much
always good.
consideration to other sports at the moment.
That's fair. Now, before I definitely want to round this off with a little ranking game that I have, but before we do that, I do want to kind of open it up to you in terms of because you've seen the growth of New Star from a small. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys are still relatively small indie developer, like
Hmm.
you keep mentioning, which is again very impressive. But I'm sure you were there when there was less than 10 employees, and you've seen it kind of evolve over time. So, what kind of advice would you have for somebody who's at the start right now, and wants to kind of get to the point where you are, where you do have a bunch of successful games, you do have a relationship with Apple, and you are able to kind of just be malleable and be able to take advice from anywhere and just
Yeah.
move and pivot whenever you need to see fit.
Good question. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
think the most important thing for a game developer is to not over-engineer a game.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean is that once you've got a concept that works, you've played it and it's good, and
Mm-hmm.
you've shown it to other people and they like it, just get it out there. Get
Yeah.
it out there and then work upon the feedback from the players. You know, I think that's what New Star's done so well over the years.
Mm-hmm.
New Star Soccer was obviously the big one when I first started. And we did so many updates for that game, so many things. We listened to the community, we added little things. But the initial game was so simple.
Yeah.
You just know yourself when you're playing something. It was like when we were playing the tennis game last year, and just the simple mechanics were in for the game. I was like, this is really good. Just
Mm-hmm.
feels right. So you just stop on that. Don't
Yeah.
over engineer it. Don't keep adding extra bits and pieces to it. If it feels good, other people are going to enjoy it as
Yeah.
well. So just get the game out there, get people
uh,
talking about it, and then build on it.
mm-hmm.
I think that's what I would say to smaller developers, because
Yeah. And,
I've known quite a few developers who have had something really nice and they've
mm-hmm.
just held on to it too long,
Mm-hmm.
and they've kind of added extra bits to it, over-engineered bits, and it's just not been the same thing in the end. I mean, fine, you release it and people don't take it up. That's just the way things go, isn't it? But
Yeah,
just don't hold on to stuff too long. That's my advice. But
no,
what do I
that's
know?
amazing.
What do I know?
I mean, I was gonna say if you're the one in charge of building the community, I think that's one of the biggest parts and part of your advice, like working off the feedback of your customers and your users, because we know what we want,
Yeah,
and like New Star, for example, is the vessel to get us there. So being able to work back and forth, and you being involved in the Reddit groups and being kind of in all the way down there to the super user of the New Star games, I think that's very important, and community building is a big one for sure. In any
absolutely.
aspect of business, honestly, at this point in
Yeah, it is
2025.
absolutely because your players are the evangelizers for the game.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Like it's
all you
very rare to
want,
just have organic recommendations nowadays, and
exactly, yeah.
this is
That's
kind of like
exactly what we build our
yeah.
success on. Is people
Hmm.
talking to their friends about the games that they're playing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I just spent 6 hours on a flight and I blinked and it was gone because I was playing this. I played like 4 seasons of Retro Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. But we are coming up on kind of the end here. I did want to round it off by playing a little blind ranking game. If Are you aware of this or no?
No, no, not aware of this.
So very simple. We're gonna do a top five ranking of New Star games. I'm gonna throw one of them one by one at you, and you have to place them in a ranking without knowing what comes next.
So,
Does that make sense or no?
so I have a question. So,
Yeah, go for it.
how are we ranking them? Are we ranking them in order of success, or
Ooh, great question.
how good
No,
how I like the game, or
your personal preference of which one you like the most. Yeah,
right?
doesn't have to
Okay.
be success numbers or you whatever. No, just which ones you like, and we're
So
gonna
you
go
can
off the ones that I've actually used also. Let's start off with the latest one. So let's do Retro Slam Tennis. Where would you put it in the top five?
four.
Four. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, let's do. What
it's only
about?
because it's new.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. It's
Let's.
got a lot of potential.
But okay, so number
Okay.
four for the new one.
Yeah.
Um, we'll kind of put retro bowl, college, and NFL into one. So let's
Oh,
put that
okay.
all into like the football category. So where would you put those? The football retro, American football.
Um, they've got to be number one.
Number one.
Mm.
Nice. Even for you as a, are you more of a soccer fan?
I am more a
Naturally.
soccer fan, yeah,
Okay,
but just can't deny how well they play,
it's
and
true.
I think that colours the judgment a bit as well.
Yeah.
How well,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about the New Star Manager, which is the one that I'm going to try later today?
I love New Star Manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that number two.
Number two. Is it similar to? Because I know a lot of people like the football manager games. Is it that idea but retroified, or
Mm,
different
yeah, it's got elements of that,
elements?
but
Okay.
like really stripped back.
Yeah, because for me, football manager was too complicated.
Yes, yeah. For me, I used to
Yeah.
really enjoy Football Manager in 1997, 1998.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Back in the roller coaster tycoon days.
Yeah,
That's what I was
absolutely.
playing.
When it used to take an hour and a half to generate all the fixtures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, what a time.
yeah.
Okay, so we have number one, which is Retro Bowl. Number two was New Star Manager.
Hmm.
Where would you put Retro Goal?
Um, I'm going to put that five.
Ooh, okay. And then the final one I'm going to throw is going to be MotoGP. Where would you put that one?
Yeah, number three.
Okay.
Really,
So
really proud of that game.
yeah,
It's,
I'm going to put the list on the screen so people will know. But we have Retro Bowl 1. Number 2 was New Star New Star Manager.
manager. Yeah.
Number 3 was MotoGP. Number 4 was Slam Tennis, the names, the Retro Slam Tennis. And then finally, we rounded it off with, what was it? Retro Goal.
Retro goal.
Are you happy with that list?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was waiting for New Star Soccer to come in.
Oh, well, I
So
guess it's because I haven't played that one.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's fine.
So,
Yeah, I'll put
uh,
that joint number two with manager.
oh yeah. All
Yeah,
right, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I'm gonna take it from the horse's mouth. You guys are over there really doing it, so I'm gonna try those games next, 100%.
I would love to know what you think of New Star Manager based
No,
off
I'll
of what we
definitely let you
talked.
know. I'll let Jennifer know so she can relay it to you, 100%.
Good.
Awesome, Mark. Well, no, I appreciate the time. If you have anything else, please let me know. But I'll leave links down below for all the games for your entire App Store page, especially the Apple Arcade stuff as well. I
Super.
believe we can do 1 month free trials. So if you haven't tried Apple Arcade, this is definitely a reason to try Apple Arcade, 100%. But yeah, all your information will be down below. I appreciate the time, Mark. And yeah, if you want to leave the people with one lasting thought, go for it.
Do you know what? I'm absolutely delighted with the way things have gone these last
Hmm.
few years. When we first started out with Retro Bowl, we had no idea how popular it was going to be. It was just like a
Hmm.
almost like a hobby kind of thing for Simon. He was like,
Yeah.
I really want to do an American football game. And then when we started playing, it was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And then just like the perfect storm, and the last few years have just been incredible. So massive, massive thank you to everyone who supported us, especially
Hmm.
our American audience.
No,
Incredible.
and thank you for creating it all, especially for me. Again, selfishly, this was an amazing conversation because I'm just a fan of it, and I know there's a lot of other people like me, probably even more hardcore than me. So I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
the time, Mark.
thank you.